Hello friends. I'm in the local forested area here. I'm still kind of exploring places from moving. I know the area, but now I'm delving deeper into my explorations. So today I wanted to do a little medicine walk in this little park. And typically you start by smudging or clearing the energy field. But I think in recent times I haven't really needed to do that. In fact, I've often seen that my medicine walks begin when I start to walk into the forest or somewhere in the middle of that journey. So I've already taken a couple mile walk, and I've settled on this place to begin. But I wanted to express some of what I was thinking about while I was walking, and this question that I've been posing about what is freedom. So some of the things that have come to mind were things such as a beetle crawling along the trail, and my freedom not to step on it, to be careful of the wildlife, of the plants. I have the freedom to choose. I have the freedom to not be violent. And then another thing that was disturbing to me, I guess, is that there's a country club nearby, and there was like this large blower vehicle. It's the only way I can describe it. I've never seen one before. I think I'm gonna need to kneel down because I'm not gonna be able to squat this entire time, but that's fine. So it was going along this path. It's kind of a road, pavement, asphalt, and it had a blower on it like about that big, and it was just going along this pavement that had nothing on it and blowing. For what reason, I'm not sure. Maybe to blow seeds off so that they wouldn't sprout in the asphalt, but it seemed unpurposeful to me. It was obviously using a lot of gas and creating a lot of noise and a lot of dust. I don't know if you can hear it in the background right now because it's pretty loud. So there's this juxtapose between this golf course and this big blower and this other rather nice little forested area. So they have the freedom to keep their grounds and such in a pristine manner for their pursuits. And I had the freedom to step aside and choose not to go that way, I guess. I guess it just makes me think of things that are purposeful and other things that are not, in my perception of that. So I wanted to go on a medicine walk with that same question in my mind. What is freedom? And the whole idea of a medicine walk is to hold an intention and then to notice things that you see. So I'm going to stop the video here and turn the camera around so that we will see together what that might be, or what that might come up, what might come up. All right. So again, I'm walking with the intention of what is freedom. And before I kind of set up here, one thing I was noticing was this plant down here that comes and generally comes in the spring, and it's an edible plant. My friend has referred to it as kitten britches, but I found it to be Pacific waterleaf. It's best to eat the fresh ones, of course, but in the spring it can really create quite a covering. And with that, I'm thinking about the freedom to eat food, the freedom of having the earth and her abundance, to enjoy the abundance of the earth. I'm seeing now a trillium that has long since flowered. It has the big leaves there. And they're pretty special because they don't like to be moved. They have a white to purple flower. The purple flowers are general. I think they're the older ones. And they're protected. You're not supposed to dig them up and plant them in your yard, but they also don't do well. They might not flower for many years if you do that. So you might have the freedom, or you might think you have the freedom to dig something up, and it does not necessarily pay you back for a long time if you do that. So let's start down this path and see what else you see. I'm being attracted by a bee here, and there's been some mosquitoes here and that I've been surprised about. But this bee has the freedom to be attracted, I suppose. I was kind of sweating there a little bit, which I think attracted the mosquitoes, and maybe also the bee, the scent. It makes me think of just wildlife in general that have the freedom to live on this earth, such as taking flies outside when they're trapped, or not smashing spiders, or other things that you have the freedom to choose a non-violent way of allowing us all to live. And there's some commotion of birds up in the trees that sound like crows. Some larger bird is probably disturbing their nest. And I wonder in what ways we disturb the nest or the things of importance to us for our own freedoms. I think it's kind of a fine line. What is freedom and what is allowance? And earlier I was thinking about, the United States, America, came from feeling mistreated. Trying to not distract myself by trying to walk here with the camera and other things, and apparently I lost my thought. But in many ways there was a reason for people to come here who are obviously all immigrants. Since the Native Americans were here first. And yet before them, there were the dinosaurs. So freedom maybe is about who is able to enjoy the fruits of this earth. What can happen if we take advantage of those fruits of this earth, its resources? And I'm noticing that there are birds sounding as I walk through in a peaceful manner while the crows yammer on about whatever's happening in their life. There's been this fight for peace, perhaps, is what it's calling our attention to. We've had this idea that freedom is worth fighting for, and I need to pause. Well, I paused and then I went on. I thought that I had gone back to recording and found that I did not. So I'm trying again here, and I'm sorry that I missed what I said as I walked along here. But I know I was talking about peace, about how all of us have come here as immigrants, that Native Americans were here first, but then also that the dinosaurs were here before that. So those were the highlights that I'm remembering as I come to this spot where the trail curves a bit, and it makes me think of the twists and turns of life and what we have to encounter and endure or be elated by. But there's freedom within constraints of this earth, and with climate change, the roles that we play in disturbing the balance and what that creates for us as an experience. Thinking not of whether it's bad or good, but more of ways to learn and grow and establish an experience of life. Sometimes bad things bring about good change. And although I'm in this forested area, I hear more of the traffic outside, somebody else's leaf blower. And I'm grateful that we're in this space of beauty, of tall trees. some of what is natural and peaceful and grounding to me can still exist, while other things go around that I wonder about why we've created them and what the purpose is. That we have the freedom to do many things. But what worth comes of it? Like the leaf blower on the pavement, with the just because we can attitude. Because we want it to be perfect in some way that seems important to us. So now, on that note, I'm going to go down this small trail, which I started down earlier, but I think they don't really want you to go down here. I actually think that somebody has come down and thrown the sign down. I know that this particular park is closed at 10. They're probably trying to keep homeless people out. But it seems like a nice little trail. And it feels like kind of a restriction of freedom. Maybe because they don't want to maintain it. With the limited resources. So there's a freedom to say no. Where I was earlier included a riparian area where they mention things such as paying attention to how much you fertilize your lawn and the runoff results of fertilizer. So although people have the freedom to fertilize their lawns, it can create a lot of havoc for our environment. And I suppose in that sense, the earth doesn't have the freedom to say no, at least immediately. And I'm seeing a tree with what is actually dead ivy crawling out most of the way. Maybe I can go in closer. Which was brought here from England. But they typically can kill trees here because it's so prolific. And you can see that although much of it is dead, it starts, pieces that have grown from the base are starting to again climb the tree. And I'm thinking down here is a plant that's called geranium, and it grows wild. It's a wild geranium. And in gardening, I've affectionately called it stinky bob because it has a pungent scent. But most people have the freedom to pull it as a weed in their garden. And yet it's just fine out here. A lot of people like a very clean-cut garden, although there are many others that are going for more natural, native plant gardens. When I was gardening with a friend, almost all of the yards that I worked in did not have grass to mow. I'm thinking about all of the time, effort, pollutive practices that lawns create, that golf courses nearby here create. So the question, I guess, with freedom, which alludes back to the previous discussion on balanced forces, where is the point between freedom and what's destructive? Can we find that place within ourselves, a place of balance between perhaps just us and the earth, or not just us and the earth, but us and other people? But start someplace. Maybe it's just things within your own self that you find destructive or not. Your own practices in what you do with your home or not. Your own practices in what you choose to be a part of and not. Okay, another pause. Someone's dog went by and needed a little pat on the head. Oh, there's a little offshoot here that I hadn't seen before. So maybe in your own practices, you can take a different path. You can at least check out a new path just by one small action. Do one small thing until it becomes a habit, and then try another small thing. The freedom to change just within ourselves might be a starting point for freedom within all. I want to go back up to the trees as I see this notching in the tree in the different directions it's able to take itself, which isn't just straight up. Many trees have this quality. This one happens to be a fir. So the freedom just to choose a different direction, to make it personal, to know that it's something that's really important to you. It doesn't harm others. It perhaps does something better for the earth. And step by step leads us all into some kind of greater freedom. And I'll leave you with that for today. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again soon.